What's up, y'all? So I've been working on this documentary for my boss, who I worked for a year, and I did a bunch of video projects for him. And he wanted to make a documentary about his family and their business because all of his uncles and his grandfathers have been in this business for years and years. So he invites his cousin, his uncles, and himself, and they're all gonna do this documentary about the family business. He asked me to help, and it kind of turns out to be a disaster, as many of my first time experiments are. Like the live streaming a wedding video, yeah, that kind of stuff. Anyways, I've done this sort of interview stuff like dozens and dozens of times before, not to this extent. Like at the end of it, I had 300 gigabytes of footage. I was using 3 different cameras. It was a really nice setup, but there were a couple of things that I did that actually made it turn into a disaster. One being the 3 cameras that I was using were all different cameras. Each camera is a little different and they each record a little different. The real problem came in when I was using my Rode mic, which gets really good audio. I didn't realize, but I had plugged in a DC converter into my camera. For some reason, it made the microphone buzz like really, really bad. So like, listen to this. Oh no. Okay. This is the kind of stuff that has plagued this project. For whatever reason, it just crashed. So listen to this.
Well, when Ron came back, your dad.
And that was the microphone that was supposed to be getting all the audio. It was a chore just getting these guys to sit down here for an hour and record. I could have them come back, but that would just be a whole separate, maybe like half the footage is like that. The other problem is that I tried really hard to be organized because I knew it was gonna be a pain on the backside to try and organize this all. So this is basically what I did. Inside a specific folder, I just called it the documentary because it's all one. I had each day's worth of footage and each interview in its own folder, and then extra like B-roll type stuff in another folder. And then inside each one of those, I had each camera, and whether it was B-roll or it was in the car. And then, pretty straightforward, just a few clips. That should be pretty easy. You just go in there and you sync them all. Well, I don't know what happened, but a bunch of clips went missing. And so then I had like half of some angles and then part of other angles. But the real problem was that the main audio was buzzing. So I was trying to find other audio from other cameras to try and fill in the audio where it was. So this is my little note to self. Rent the equipment that you need to make sure that you can get entire shots without any recording limits or needs to plug in cameras and have buzzing mics. Okay, that's the first thing. Just rent the right equipment. Second thing is have some sort of slate and some way to sync the audio, because I'm realizing how useful that would have been to have a little piece of paper or something saying this is the shot, and even like a little color stick to say here are the colors and all of that. So that, realizing that would have been super helpful. The third thing is not recording the audio into the camera. I would have got a little external recorder or mic, and I would have recorded it straight into that, and then have that actually in my ear, checking to make sure that it's not buzzing or something. The last thing is kind of more of a story element, but I probably would have scheduled a call beforehand and talked to them about the story and been like, hey, yeah, tell me what you're gonna say, and called every single one of the people before I even start shooting. So that way I know kind of what the story is and I can ask them more specific. Instead, it's kind of like each one is just kind of telling a separate story, so it's kind of hard to mix them in. So for future self, when you're doing a documentary, think about those sorts of things and don't wing it. don't get horrible audio. Anyways, I just thought that would make an interesting video and might be helpful for somebody else who's thinking about doing some sort of long form storytelling. Anyways, peace out. Slate.